I have been leaning in, closer than the breath that leaves your lips, catching every sigh that you thought went unnoticed in the vastness of the universe. You have walked through a corridor of shadows, where the walls seemed to close in and the path ahead was obscured by a mist you could not pierce. In those moments, you questioned if my hand had been withdrawn. You looked for a sign, a flicker of light, a resonance of my voice, and found only a profound, echoing silence. But I tell you now, my precious one, that the silence was never my absence. It was the heavy, pregnant quiet of a father watching his child grow in strength. I was not distant. I was working in the depths of your character where the light of the sun does not reach. I was strengthening your spirit for the weight of the glory that is about to be revealed through you. The waiting has been the soil, rich, dark, and necessary. You cannot have the harvest without the season of being buried. You felt buried, did you not? You felt forgotten by the world and perhaps even by me. But you were not buried to be discarded. You were planted to be transformed. The pressure you felt was not intended to crush you, but to break the husk of the old self so that the new life I have placed within you could finally emerge. Your tears have been the irrigation for this hidden garden. Every prayer offered in pain, every act of obedience when you felt nothing, every time you chose to trust me despite the evidence of your eyes, these have been the nutrients for the breakthrough that is now at your very door. You are stepping across a threshold into a season of suddenlies. The world measures time by the slow turning of the seasons, but I am the master of the moment. I am the one who can compress years of restoration into a single afternoon. I am the one who can turn a prison into a palace in the space of a heartbeat. You have spent what feels like an eternity in the not yet, but I am bringing you into the now. There is an acceleration coming upon your life that will leave you breathless with wonder. Things that have been stagnant for years will suddenly begin to flow. Doors that were rusted shut will suddenly swing wide. Relationships that were fractured will suddenly find the grace for healing. This is not because of your striving, but because of my timing. You have endured the process, and now you shall inherit the promise. Do not be afraid of the speed of the change. I have prepared your heart to carry what I am about to release. The roots you grew in the dark are strong enough to support the fruit that will grow in the light. The humility you learned in the silence will be the anchor for the influence I am giving you. Look up, for the horizon is changing. The gray haze of the long winter is being burnt away by the rising sun of my favor. I have heard your whispers in the dark, and I am answering them with a shout of victory in the daylight. You are not who you were when this journey began. You are stronger, purer, and more aligned with my heart. The delay was not a denial. It was a divine appointment with destiny. I am the God of the turnaround. I am the God of the breakthrough. I am your Father, and I delight in giving you the kingdom. Brace yourself with hope, for the suddenly of God is breaking over your life like a tidal wave of grace. It will wash away the debris of the past and leave behind the treasures of my goodness. You have waited well, my child. Now, watch as I do what only I can do. The silence is broken. The preparation is complete. The movement has begun. The winds of my spirit are blowing away the chaff of your yesterday, clearing the ground for the miraculous architecture of your tomorrow. You will look back at this time of waiting not with bitterness, but with a deep realization that every moment of the desert was necessary to prepare you for the promised land. I have been weaving a tapestry of such complexity and beauty that its full pattern is only now becoming visible. Your faith has been the thread, and my love has been the loom. Do not look at the clock or the calendar, for I am outside of time and I am accelerating the harvest of your endurance. The drought is ending. The clouds are heavy with the rain of my favor. Even now, the first drops are falling. Can you feel it? It is the sound of chains breaking. It is the sound of doors opening that no man can shut. It is the sound of my love rushing in to fill every void and heal every wound. Hold fast to me, for the transition is here. The stillness is over, and the suddenly has arrived. The frost that has gripped your heart and held your dreams in a state of suspended animation is now yielding to the heat of my presence. I am the sun of righteousness rising with healing in my wings, and the icy barriers that have hindered your forward motion are liquefying at the sound of my voice. You have felt as though you were walking through a perpetual winter, where every step was a struggle, and every breath was a battle against the cold winds of adversity. But I tell you, the seasons of the earth do not wait for the permission of man to change. They obey a higher frequency, a divine rhythm that I established before the foundations of the world were laid. So it is with the season of your life. The struggle you have known, the stagnation you have endured, and the silence you have navigated are not permanent fixtures. They were merely the winter, and winter is now being commanded to retreat. I am melting the ice that has frozen your progress, dissolving the obstacles that seemed as solid as granite. You have looked at your circumstances and seen an unbreakable wall of frost, but I see a vapor that vanishes when I breathe upon it. This is the hour of the great thaw. Where there was once a standstill, there shall now be a rushing stream. Where there was once a hardened path, there shall now be fertile soil. My voice is the only authority that dictates the climate of your destiny. Man may have told you that you are stuck, that your age or your mistakes or your lack of resources have disqualified you from advancement, but I say to you, I am the God of the suddenly. I do not need a decade to undo what a decade has done. I do not need years to rebuild what years have broken. I am the architect of time, and I am compressing the recovery into a moment. Feel the warmth of my love surrounding you now, penetrating the places where you have become numb from the long wait. I am restoring sensation to your spirit. I am bringing life back to the dreams you thought had died in the cold. Do not try to hold on to the winter, for its purpose is served. The roots have gone deep in the dark, and now it is time for the shoot to break through the surface. This progress will not be gradual, it will be explosive. You will wake up to find that the landscape of your life has shifted overnight. The doors that were frozen shut will swing wide with ease. The ideas that were locked in a deep freeze will begin to flow with creative power. I am calling forth the hidden treasures that have been preserved under the snow. Your endurance has not been in vain. Every prayer you whispered in the freezing dark was heard, and every tear that fell was caught. Now, those very tears are becoming the water that nourishes the seeds of your future. I am commanding the north wind to cease, and the south wind to blow upon your garden, that the spices thereof may flow out. You are entering a momentum that cannot be explained by human logic. It is the momentum of my spirit. As the ice melts, you will find that you are not behind schedule. You are exactly where I intended for you to be, equipped with a strength that only the winter could have forged in you. I am the God who commands the morning and shows the dawn its place. The limitations that have hemmed you in were never meant to be your final boundary. They were merely the edges of the crucible where I was refining your character. But the refinement is complete, and the furnace has done its work. Now I am turning the temperature of my glory upon the walls that have kept you contained. Watch as the structures of limitation dissolve. Listen for the sound of the cracking ice. It is the sound of your liberation. People will look at your life and ask how you moved so far, so fast. They will search for the natural explanation for your sudden advancement, but they will find none. For this is the work of my hand alone, a divine acceleration that bypasses the normal cycles of growth. I am taking the things that have been stagnant for years and causing them to flourish in days. I am taking the relationships that have been cold and distant and breathing the warmth of reconciliation into them. I am taking the financial barrenness that has been like a permafrost over your house and commanding the hidden wealth of the secret places to be revealed. You do not need the permission of the world to prosper. You do not need the approval of those who saw you in your winter to enter into your spring. I have given you my approval, and that is the only key you require. The world's seasons are dictated by laws of nature, but your seasons are dictated by the laws of my spirit. And my spirit is saying, move, move forward into the light, move forward into the abundance, move forward into the calling that has been waiting for you to emerge from the shadows. The ice is gone, the way is clear. The voice of the turtle dove is heard in the land. This is your time, this is your moment, this is your suddenly. Do not look back at the frozen tundra of your past with longing or regret, for there is nothing there for you now. Your life is ahead of you, glowing with the brilliance of my favor. I am with you in the heat of the day just as I was with you in the chill of the night. But now, you shall feel the joy of the harvest. You shall taste the sweetness of the fruit that has been ripening under the cover of my protection. The transition is complete. The new day has dawned. Embrace it with all that you are. As you step into this light, I see the weight that still attempts to cling to your shoulders, the weight of calculation, the heavy burden of how. I see the way your eyes linger on the statements, the ledgers, and the digital screens that display what the world calls your reality. You have looked at the numbers and felt a chill that does not belong in this new season of warmth. But I say to you, my child, do not fear the numbers on the page. They are but ink and pixels, subject to the laws of a fading system, while you are governed by the riches of my glory. I am the owner of every resource, the architect of every mountain of gold, and the sustainer of every valley of grain. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, says the Lord of hosts, and I do not dispense it according to the merit of the world's labor, but according to the measure of my infinite love for you. You have felt restricted by the boundaries of your own understanding, trying to solve the equations of your life with a finite mind, but I am the God of the infinite. I am releasing, even now, unexpected streams of income, wells you did not dig, and vineyards you did not plant. These are the suddenlies of my provision. Watch as the mail brings tidings of restoration. Watch as old debts are dissolved by the hand of favor you did not seek. Watch as the skills I have hidden within you suddenly find a market and a purpose that yields a harvest beyond your wildest imagination. I am orchestrating divine coincidences that the world would call luck, but you will know as my heartbeat. You will walk into a room and find the very person who holds the key to your next door. You will receive a call that changes the trajectory of your household's peace. I am clearing the path of the debris of lack and the thorns of anxiety that have scratched at your heart for too long. Your house shall be a sanctuary of plenty, not because of your striving, but because of my hovering presence. I am providing for your house so that your hands may be free to do the work I have called you to do. I do not want your mind occupied by the crumbs when I have invited you to the banquet of the kingdom. The resources are moving. The currents of my spirit are carrying the supply to your shores. Believe that I am the Father who knows what you need before you even ask, and I am the King who finds joy in the prosperity of his servants. Do not look at the storehouse and see emptiness. Look through the eyes of faith and see the abundance that is already in transit. There is a shift in the atmosphere of your finances, a turning of the tide that will wash away the years of not enough and replace them with the overflow of more than enough. This is not for your comfort alone, but so that you may be a conduit of my blessing to a world that is thirsting for a glimpse of my goodness. The numbers on the page are changing, because the one who wrote the stars in the sky has picked up the pen of your life. Trust the hand that holds the universe. Trust the heart that beat for you before time began. I am opening the windows of heaven, and the suddenly you have waited for is knocking at your door. The drought is over. The rain of my favor is falling, and it will saturate every dry place in your life until the desert blooms like a rose. Walk out into the downpour. Do not carry the umbrella of your old fears. Let the abundance soak into your spirit until you realize that with me, all things are possible and all resources are yours. I am your provider, your gyre, and I am standing in your future, beckoning you to come and see what I have prepared for those who love me. The path is clear, the supply is sure, and your house shall be a testimony of my faithfulness in this season of suddenlies. But even as your house becomes a testimony of my outward provision, I am turning my gaze inward to the house of your soul, for I see the rooms within you that you have kept locked even from yourself. I see the scars that no one else knows about, the ones you have covered with layers of busyness, the ones you have hidden behind a smile that reached your lips but never quite touched your eyes. There are marks on your spirit from seasons you thought would never end, and wounds from words spoken in haste that settled deep into the soil of your identity. Do not think for a moment that because I am blessing your outward life, I am unaware of your inward ache. My love is a balm that goes deeper than the hurt. I am the great physician, but I am also your father, and I am drawing close to the places where you are tender. I am reaching into the hidden chambers of your heart to touch the memories that still sting when the night is quiet. I am applying the holy oil of my spirit to the dry, brittle places where disappointment has tried to take root and stay. You have learned to function through the pain, but I am calling you to function in the fullness of my peace. This, suddenly, is not just about your circumstances. It is about the sudden restoration of your very soul. I am removing the heavy armor you built to protect yourself from further injury. You do not need it anymore. I am your shield, and my presence is your safe harbor. I am untangling the knots of anxiety that have bound your thoughts, and I am smoothing out the jagged edges of your past. I want you to carry the joy of this new season without the weight of the old. How can you dance in the rain of my favor if your feet are still shackled by the shadows of yesterday? I am breaking those chains now. I am speaking life into the dead spaces of your heart. I am replacing the what-ifs and the if-onlys with the steady, rhythmic cadence of my I am. You have felt the need to be strong for everyone else, to be the one who holds it all together while you were falling apart inside. But in my presence, you can let it all go. I am not asking you to be strong. I am asking you to be mine. The restoration I am bringing is so complete that the places where you were broken will become the places of your greatest strength. I am weaving your story into a masterpiece of my grace, where even the scars become windows through which my light can shine onto a world that needs hope. Feel the warmth of my love as it penetrates the deep cold of old rejections. Let the rhythm of my heart become the rhythm of your own. I am walking through the galleries of your mind, taking down the portraits of failure you have hung there. I am painting over the dark colors of your regret with the vibrant, living hues of my mercy. I see the moments where you felt invisible, where your heart cried out and you thought no one heard. I heard. I was there in the silence, collecting every tear, holding every sigh. And now, I am using those very tears to water the seeds of a new joy that is springing up within you. This is a divine exchange. I am taking your ashes and giving you beauty. I am taking your mourning and giving you the oil of joy. I am taking your spirit of heaviness and giving you a garment of praise. You will find yourself laughing again, not because the world has suddenly become perfect, but because you have suddenly become whole. The suddenly of my healing is moving through your blood, through your nerves, through the very fabric of your being. You will wake up and realize the bitterness is gone. You will look at the people who hurt you and realize the sting has vanished, replaced by a compassion they do not deserve, but that I have placed within you. This is how you will know you are ready for what is next. For the magnitude of the blessing I am releasing requires a heart that is not cluttered with the debris of the past. I am clearing the ground. I am making room for the overflow. Do not fear the vulnerability that comes with this healing. It is not a weakness. It is the openness that allows my power to flow through you to others. You will become a healer of hearts because I have healed yours. You will become a source of comfort because you have been comforted by the God of all comfort. The weight is lifting. The shadows are fleeing. The restoration is here. You are my beloved, and in you I am well pleased. Step forward into the light of this new day, leaving the ghosts of your past at the threshold of my grace. Your heart is new. Your strength is renewed. Your future is bright. The season of suddenlies has begun, and you are ready. Now look closely at the walls that have long stood before you, casting long shadows across your path, and making you feel as though your journey had reached a final, silent end. For too long, you have viewed these barriers as signs of my absence, or as evidence of a closed door that would never swing wide. But I tell you today, my child, that what you perceived as a barricade is actually the very material from which I am fashioning your new entrance. Think of the Red Sea, which the people of old saw as a watery grave, a terminal point of their escape from bondage. To their eyes, it was an impassable end, but to my eyes, it was the very floor of their liberation. I did not move the sea to the side merely to clear the way. I turned the depths into a highway. So it is with you. The very obstacle that has caused you to pause, to doubt, and to wonder if you had misheard my voice is being transformed in this season of suddenlies into your most significant portal of progress. You have been staring at the stone in front of the tomb, grieving the life you thought was lost. But I am the one who rolls away the stone, not just to show you what is gone, but to invite you into a life that death cannot touch. The very hardness of that stone is proof of the strength of the foundation I am building for you. What looked like a dead end was merely a redirection, a divine curve in the road designed to protect you from a danger you could not see and to position you for a blessing you could not have imagined. I have watched you walk the perimeter of your limitations, touching the cold surface of the no that life has given you, feeling the rough texture of rejection and the weight of disappointment. But listen to my voice. I am the God of the yes and the amen. I am turning your greatest obstacles into your most significant opportunities. The mountain that stood in your way is now the very vantage point from which you will see your promised land. I am giving you the grace to see that the resistance you faced was not intended to destroy your momentum, but to build the spiritual muscle required to carry the weight of the glory I am about to bestow. You felt the wind blowing against you and thought it was a storm meant to push you back, but I tell you, it was a headwind designed to lift you higher, to force your wings to catch the updrafts of my spirit. I am the master of the sudden shift, the divine architect who uses the rubble of your broken dreams to build the cathedral of your destiny. In one moment, the wall becomes a walkway. In one moment, the prison door becomes the gate to the palace. Do not look at the obstacle with dread any longer. Look at it with expectation. Ask me, Father, what is this wall becoming? Because I promise you, it is not staying a wall. I am rearranging the molecules of your circumstances. I am breathing life into the dry bones of your disappointments. The very person who opposed you will now unknowingly serve your purpose. The very system that excluded you will now find itself needing the wisdom I have deposited within you. This is the mystery of my sovereignty, that I use the tools of the enemy to build the kingdom of my beloved. You are stepping into a time where the things that used to stop you will now propel you. You are entering a space where the dead-end sign is being replaced by a "Start Here" banner. Believe that I am moving even when you are standing still. Believe that the silence was not a lack of activity, but the quiet preparation of a grand unveiling. The magnitude of what I am opening for you is directly proportional to the size of the wall you have been facing. If the barrier was great, the breakthrough will be greater. If the delay was long, the manifestation will be enduring. You are not just getting past the obstacle, you are taking the obstacle with you as a trophy of my faithfulness. Every scar from the climb is a badge of honor, a testimony to the fact that you did not give up. I have placed within you a resilience that the world cannot understand, and now that resilience is being turned into authority. The very place where you were mocked will be the place where you are honored. The very ground that refused to yield a harvest will now overflow with the fruits of your faithfulness. Now, stand at the threshold of what you thought was your limit and watch as I dissolve the resistance. The season of suddenlies is not just about things happening quickly, it is about things happening completely. It is about the total transformation of your landscape. I'm making your path straight, and where there was a wilderness, there shall be a garden. Where there was a wall, there shall be a gate. You are my child, and I am the waymaker. Walk through the entrance I have made from your obstacles and do not look back. Your future is not just open, it is expansive, it is radiant, and it is yours. As you step into this expansive horizon, I want to settle the rhythm of your heart. You have carried the weight of the journey in your shoulders and the noise of the battle in your mind for so long that you have forgotten the sound of true silence. But I am the Prince of Peace, and I am speaking suddenly into the chaos of your thoughts. My child, do not mistake the calm for the absence of movement. The greatest movements of my spirit often occur in the deep, quiet waters of a surrendered soul. You have been waiting for the external circumstances to line up before you give yourself permission to rest, but I am inviting you into a rest that precedes the breakthrough. The noise in your mind is but a shadow of your past struggles. It is the echo of old fears trying to find a home in your new season. I am quieting those voices now. I am lowering the volume of the world's demands and the enemy's accusations. Feel the stillness rising within you like a tide. This is not a void. It is my presence. Peace is not the absence of trouble, but my presence within it. Breathe. Take a deep breath of my spirit. As you inhale, receive my grace for this moment. As you exhale, let go of the blueprints you have tried to draw for your own deliverance. You do not need to figure out the how or the when anymore. I have already gone before you and finished the work. Your only task is to remain in me. I see the questions that keep you awake at night. I see the mental loops where you replay every mistake and calculate every risk. I am asking you to step out of that loop and into my embrace. Peace is not a destination you reach after the war is won. It is the weapon that wins the war. When you are still, you become a conduit for my power. When you stop striving, I begin moving. This stillness I am giving you is a fortress. Within its walls, the arrows of worry cannot reach you, and the winds of uncertainty cannot shake you. You have been trained to believe that if you stop thinking about the problem will win. But I am telling you that when you surrender the problem to me, my solution takes over. I am quieting the what-ifs that have haunted your imagination. I am replacing them with the I am that defines your reality. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a child of my covenant. The noise of the world is loud, but my whisper is stronger. It is the whisper that commanded the light to shine out of darkness. It is the whisper that tells the storm to be still. Hear it now in the center of your soul. I am quieting the noise of expectation, both your own and the expectations of others. You do not have to perform for me. You do not have to prove your worth by the magnitude of your struggle. Your worth is found in the fact that I called you mine. In this season of suddenlies, the most profound suddenly will be the sudden arrival of a peace that surpasses all your logical understanding. It will be a peace that anchors you when everything around you is shifting. It will be a peace that gives you the courage to stand still when everyone else is running. Breathe in my spirit. Let it circulate through your mind, washing away the clutter of overthinking. Let it flow through your heart, mending the tears left by anxiety. You are entering a season where the noise will no longer have dominion over you. You will walk through the fire and not be burned, because your mind is stayed on me. You will walk through the flood and not be overwhelmed, because your heart is anchored in my love. Let go of the need to understand the mechanics of my miracles. You do not need to know how the bread multiplies or how the water turns to wine. You only need to be the one who presents the jars and the loaves. I am the God of the process, and I am the God of the result. Your only responsibility is the posture of your heart. Stay close to me. Lean into the silence. It is in this holy quiet that I am speaking the secrets of your next steps. It is in this peace that I am preparing you for the weight of the glory that is coming. The expansive future I have for you is too great to be navigated by your own logic. It requires the guidance of my spirit and the clarity of a quiet mind. So breathe. Breathe in the peace that I am, and breathe out the worry that you were never meant to carry. You are safe. You are held. You are loved beyond measure. Do you feel the shift? The atmosphere of your internal world is changing even as I speak. The heavy clouds of mental exhaustion are parting, and the warmth of my favor is shining through. You have spent years as a student of your own sorrow, analyzing every detail of your pain. Now, I am inviting you to become a student of my peace. Look at the way I hold the stars in place without a hint of effort. Look at the way I clothe the lilies of the field without their striving. Am I not much more capable of holding you? The suddenlies are not just events on a calendar, they are a state of being. To live in the suddenly is to live in the constant awareness that I can change everything in a heartbeat. And because I can, you don't have to. You can rest. You can let the noise fade into the background until it is nothing more than a distant memory. I am your sanctuary. I am your hiding place. I am the stillness that gives you strength. As you move forward, carry this peace as your most precious possession. It is your shield. It is your light. It is the evidence of my presence. Walk into your expansive future not with the frantic energy of one who is trying to survive, but with the calm confidence of one who has already been given the victory. The way is open. The garden is waiting, and I am right here beside you every step of the way. My peace I give to you, not as the world gives, but as a father gives to his beloved child. Receive it. Dwell in it. Let it be the foundation upon which your new season is built. You are entering a time of unprecedented clarity. The fog is lifting, and the path I have laid for you is becoming visible in the light of my peace. Trust me with the details. Trust me with the timing. Trust me with your heart. For I am the God who does exceeding abundantly above all you could ask or think, and it begins with the quiet, suddenly, of a heart at rest.